What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pacers Gaming Podcast presented by Salesforce. There's a link in the description to go check out Salesforce. They got career opportunities and they have a great marketing product as well. Now today, another flair we're throwing in. We're going to talk about the future of 2K.
Yes.
But not so distant future, right, guys? This is like a month away.
About a month.
So we're going to be talking 2K21, everything that's kind of come out in the last week. Information, there's some actual facts out there. It's not all just guesses. And let's get started with one. Actually, Cody did a video on jump shots. And Cody and I have talked about this a lot. You guys, I'm sure, have talked about it a lot as far as how contests should work, how greens should work, how RNG, or like the randomness of like a percentage, whether or not the shot's going to go in, should work. I'll leave a link to Cody's video in the description if you guys want to go watch that one. I may play a couple clips during this if they fit, but I'll definitely probably show the little graph bar that he puts up that he put together. Guys, jump shots, 2K21. The reason Cody made this video actually was because Mike Wang was there was a clip on Twitter of him talking about, like, he's talking with Agent, and we're going to talk about some bullet points in regards to that conversation on 2K TV. But one of the things he was saying is, like, should, like, at least they're thinking about this. That's the good thing. But should RNG even be a factor? Should it be just you either hit it and you hit your release timing and you make it, or you miss, Or is there a balance in there? Like, where do you strike a balance with fun and competitive and all that kind of stuff? So we're going to get into all that, but let's talk about the jump shot stuff in relation to like what Cody was talking about in his video, which I'm going to pull up on my screen as well. Basically he'd put up a graph that is percentages. It's like your very early, perfect release, slightly late type of graph. And there's milliseconds involved here based on some stuff from 2K Lab. But then you have windows, right? You've got your green window, you've got your slightly early window, and he talks about how green should go in. There should be no debate on that. If you're open and you hit that perfect release timing, it should go in. It should be a green. Outside of that, you've got a percentage chance, and that percentage gets lower the further you're away from it. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
And then he also throws in there a little bit about contest and how, if you have a certain contest percentage that can subtract from the percentage chance you have to make it. So, something like that. Maybe it's linear, maybe it's scaled a little bit to make sense, because I'm sure we can poke holes in it. But What do you guys think overall about this idea, or just jump shots? What you think jump shots should be in general?
All right, I'm gonna take the floor real quick. I think I disagree with Cody on what he did on the video, because it's similar to what we have now in the way that he was like saying, for example, like there's the 5% for it to go in if you're very early, or the 5 to 15, and then 30 to 70, all these percentages. I understand what he's saying, but the other part of it is like, well, for the competitive part, not the casuals, I'm talking about more for us professionals and competitive players. Like, what does it make the tough part about it is that what happens if I shoot a shot that has a 30% chance of going in 3 times a game and it never goes in? 70% of the not going in clicks in, but the other opponent shoots the same shot and 2 of them go in because his 30% clicked in. So it's the same scenario that we have right now with the whole white thing going in. And again, it's the same thing with the shooting out early. He said if you shoot out early 44, you shouldn't go in because of the subtraction and all that. That makes sense, and I understand that. And it has its pros, but I don't like it personally for a competitive standpoint, because it's still too unbalanced on like what does it make for that percentage click in. Like, what happens if they shoot a 5%er of it going in with the subtraction, all that he has, and it goes in because that 5% clicks in at that moment? Like, it's tough. So for me personally, I'm always saying, like, it should be greens, and every time you green it, it should go in. And then with the contest, like, I don't know how it works because I don't know the specifics and I never got into it. But like I know there's a green window and all that. I don't know how like big it is or whatever. But like if you contest, then obviously the green window goes lower, and the release timing changes. You like because of the contest and all that. So it's harder to green. But it should be. It should be. There's still people that green 35, 40% sometimes. Like, but it's tough. But they do. But again, that's my point of it. Like viewing it from like competitive standpoint, not from like a arcade video games point. Like more of a realistic, which is the word I'm using because it's the word I always wanted it to be for the game. Like if you see, for example, I'm gonna use the example of the league right here that people know. Um, you see people shooting 70% from 360, 50, all the PG shooting 45, whatever. That's fine. But if you think about it realistically, somebody that shoots 40 something is like the best shooter in the world, like a Curry. So let's say you shoot 10 shots and you green three or you green four, then you're shooting 30, 35, 40%, then you're a great shooter. Like that's how I look at it. You have to green every shot to make it go in, and your whites are not gonna drop. That makes a skill put into the shooting, which it does we don't have right now. There's no skill to shooting right now. Yes, there is a little bit, but again, there's green animations, there's whites dropping in, there's contested shot dropping in. Like is there's not that much skill to it. So that will
Here's
be my point of it.
yeah. I think here's the biggest question, Joe Martin. Anybody else can chip in on this too. Is can you find a way to like separate between game modes what the shooting should be like? Like, should it just be from the base game, casual one-on-ones? Let's say LeBron James plays Donovan Mitchell in a game of one-on-one. Do you want it to be greens only go in?
Yeah.
Or do would they get ticked off? Or little Billy down the street gets 2K for Christmas. And he's playing casually against his friend across the street.
But
Go
That's
ahead.
the next part of it.
But that's where it makes it on the developers. They need to make two different types. Like you should be able to choose. Do you want to play that type, or do you want to play like the casual type where the whites will go in? Like that's what they need.
I think. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, so I was kind of just with Joe Mar. So I agree from a competitive standpoint. I think for the 2K league in general, it should just be green. So you have to green your shots to go in. That's all. Everyone's professional, supposed to be the best players in the world. That's going to make the biggest skill gap. But I like what Cody did for his like the 2K game. I think you kind of because right now I know Joe Mar, you said it's like this already. I disagree because based on what Cody's saying, you should be rewarded for shooting closer to the green window or closer. Mm-hmm. And right now you're literally penalized more by getting the closest you can without greening to automatically miss. And you're in the early goes in more than a green animation white. So I think what Cody is saying, if like a green animation white, if it's either green or it's right outside, should be the highest percentage of a white to go in compared to an early. And I think just based on kind of what Swizz was saying too, scaling it by the game modes where like I know like Madden, there's like a simulation mode, competitive mode. So I think like on a competitive mode, you can just kind of turn like maybe the sliders. So like the percentage of whites, if say for Team Pro-Am competitively, in Team Pro-Am, the window for whites going in is less. Like, so instead of like, he says like a 70% chance of going in, maybe you lower it to like a 40, 30, and it's going to make it where greening is more, but maybe in a rec, you can take a 70% of whites. But I think one thing and you switch to the modes, like a very late and a very early should just be a 0% chance of going.
Right.
I
agree.
Yeah. I wanted to add real quick too, and I'm sure our viewers can probably relate to this. Is I think especially with 2K, we're going on next gen now too, which is a big step. And obviously, like the jump shooting, it's a really big conversation on Twitter and YouTube and whatever. I think that 2K, because you can't do anything without context, and I think 2K should increase, like, what's the word? Like the transparency to explain to us, like, okay, this is what happens, like when you get a full white or green animation, like come out with a 10 to 15 minute video explaining, like, hey, so this is what happens, like when you do that, you're actually releasing it perfectly, and the RNG plays a factor into that, or like add context and transparency so that we as the gamers know, like, okay, we can control our own fate in this game mode versus this game. And I think that's going to be important, especially because we're getting a lot bigger now too. So it's really important, I think, for them to do that.
And I think kind of going along with that. So at the beginning of the year, I know you guys probably remember where there was like the white green pretty much. So at the beginning of the year, if you shot a full bar, it went in every time. So you're like, it's green. Like even if someone shoots a white and it's full bar, you're like, oh, it's going in, it's green. And then for some, like they switched it, and now that probably same release and same animation turned into it missing every time. So it's like, but no one understood like why, and like everyone at the beginning of the year was like, he whited, that shouldn't go in. But now everyone's saying, oh, he greened, it should go in. So it's just kind of no one understands what's going on.
Yeah, I'm more of on the fence of not. I mean, I'm kind of hardcore, so no RNG at all. I mean,
I agree.
I'm one of the people that like I don't even think very early wide open layup should go in.
I was gonna bring that up. I think even with layups without a meter, they should still have it. So you have to time it decently.
So it should be at least a slightly early minimum. Now, it doesn't have to be green for a layup, but you should not make a red very early layup ever.
That's a different discussion though, Wolf. Because it's
RNG though. That's RNG.
Yeah, but no. But playing like center or whatever PG, whatever precision. Like sometimes you pump fake and it gives you the layup animation. Yeah. So how do you control? You pump faking in your mind, and then it going up because you pump fake in your head, and then it goes up, and sometimes you pump fake and it goes up and it goes in.
Like
wide
open, skill, bro. That makes it makes it skill.
I think Wolf, I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
I'll be real quick, Wolf. I just wanted to ask you a quick question. So, like the whole like RNG thing, right? So it's like random. Like the question is though, we all know 2K is a very momentum-based game. Do you believe that like has something to do with the RNG, or RNG it's completely isolated, it's completely on its own, like it's random regardless, or stuff that happens in the game like it correlates? What do you think like with that?
I mean, I think it correlates, but
it shouldn't.
But it shouldn't exactly. Yeah, okay. It shouldn't.
That's
like,
well said.
I mean, tip off is 0-0. The momentum's in the middle.
Right.
Let's say we shoot 2 open whites, and another team shoots 2 open whites, but our RNG kicks in and we make 2 and they miss 2. Now everything swings towards us. Like it shouldn't be that way. In any game, I don't care if you're playing.
But do they make it like that? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But do they make it like that because that is how basketball works?
Probably.
Yeah.
But you think? But listen, this is basketball, but it's also a video game.
We're a competitive video game. We're not playing real ball.
So yeah, that's why I agree. I agree with that.
For the
2K league, I agree with that. But for the normal game, I don't agree with that because I think 2K. I think they should do like the sliders and stuff for a competitive mode, a normal mode. But at the same time, 2K is still supposed to be somewhat of a simulation game.
I think we all agree here. 2K at its core leans more towards a casual game.
Yeah, simulation
of course.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I always will. It will never change.
The most ideal 2K I will want to play is where I control every single thing that my player does in every aspect. Whether if I green a shot, it goes in. If I don't green it, it doesn't go in. If I shoot a very early red half bar layup, it should not go in. If I time it well, it should go in. If I'm spamming square in the lanes, I should be able to move my left stick towards the area I want to steal the ball, not just sit in the middle and spam square. Like I should have full control over every single movement that my player does, and
every little detail,
whether it be spamming the lanes when I want to play the corner or the paint or whatever. Like and I think it'll create a bigger skill gap. I mean, that's what it comes down to,
I actually agree with Nate real quick with the whole basketball thing, with the momentum thing. I think the only problem with the momentum thing is that it's way too much. Like in basketball, let's say a team hits 2 threes, they're hot, but it's not like every single shot they take and they make it everything. They're getting every loose ball, every tip. Like it's way too much.
I think there's 2 sides of it. Like Wolf says, the competitive side, as competitive players, like want the game to be, something you control, and then there's the side for like the casual fans or whoever's watching or the league to make the game more entertaining. If you think about it, the whole rally is like that makes it entertaining. Like you get down 15, and then obviously the momentum's theirs, and then you steal a couple of steals. And now you got the momentum. You come back. Like it's all part of like basketball, realistic, like making it fun for the viewers and stuff. That's
like a good example, and I'm sure a lot of viewers can relate to this. Like let's say you're playing Warzone, right? and there's a mechanic in the game called gun jamming now all of a sudden, and now you're aiming down sight, you're aiming right at the guy's chest, and you're shooting him, but all of a sudden your gun jams and his doesn't, and you're shooting at the same spot. That's RNG. Like it shouldn't be that way. Like that's an example maybe people could relate to, because like it's the same thing in 2K. We both full bar it, but one of us get a white and a green animation, white, and another one greens. How is that fair? Same thing as you're shooting in Warzone and your gun jams and then his doesn't.
Wait, is that a thing?
No, that's an example. No, exactly, but look, like you even question it, like that'll be absurd.
Right.
Like it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, the only thing is though, like in basketball, you can have Trevor Ariza on one team gets open 3, he misses, and then you got
Melo.
You got Melo on the other end, comes down,
yeah, but
and he shoots a 3 and it banks in off the backboard out the corner, like something like
that's like I mean, then that goes into like 3-point ratings and like stuff like that. So
yeah.
Correct.
Of course, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you have a 93 ball, you should be able to
your green
have
window,
a green window as opposed to like a 50 pure lock should be like this big.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with that. That's how it should be. Like ratings should matter.
Yeah. And then you can test, it goes lower.
Yeah, but like not every shot that goes in the NBA or basketball in general is a perfectly released shot. Like sometimes.
Yeah,
but
that's the
point. That's the point.
But you got guys like James Harden who have a way bigger release window because they shoot off dribble, they shoot like contested shots. Like there's levels to like a pure sharp or a shot creator as opposed to like a Trevor Ariza or I don't know a Patrick Bev in the corner shooting like their window is going to be much smaller because they're not as an elite shooter. Like that's the same thing.
But if we're going back based on the NBA. 90% of the shots they take are not perfect releases. So
that's my point. Like
that's just how the game.
So that's where you go with a green to a white. It's like it could still go in even if you don't perfectly release it, but it's not a guarantee. I think that's where Cody's thing I think goes where you're kind of.
I think there's definitely two sides to it, and multiple sides to it. Yeah, but you definitely got to choose. I'm sure we could talk about this probably all day. But I definitely think it's the argument between like casual versus competitive and finding that sweet spot. I think.
If anything, no green animations 2021. If I get on my team and I shoot a green animation 2021, I'm uninstalling that shit.
Why not why not make like a hardcore mode? Like
that's what I'm saying, bro.
Like hardcore pro-am or hardcore. Team, I don't know.
So that's the next topic. Yeah. That's the next topic, really. So
go ahead, Spencer.
Moving in sort of to that, you guys already talked about it, like a ranked mode or like chill versus hardcore or difficult. And maybe it's like versions of the different, like there's a park casual and then there's a park ranked, or there's a, you know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think about that, or how could that play
that's
in?
Great. I mean,
that's what they need.
So yeah, I think kind of going that. I think so. They should make say a league mode where that's where you got to green everything. Like that's going to be that's your hardcore. Like that's how the league should be. So you can say a hardcore league, whatever. Then they should. So that's either maybe private matchmaking, maybe like a specific team pro-am. That's that. Then like a competitive, which I think that should be your normal ranked pro-am. So what it is kind of right now. Just in case you want to go, you search. Yeah, that's kind of like your competitive. It's more competitive than the rec, but it's still.
Also,
huh?
I'm prompting like how would the mechanics be different from pro-am compared to rec?
Sliders.
Yeah. So the slide. So I think with Cody's scale, and like say the competitive, you have if you shoot the best white you can, maybe it has like a 40 or 50% chance to go in that competitive mode. And then you say you go to the rec, you have a casual mode, and that's like a 70% chance that white. And then so all the numbers are upped, and then for the competitive it's lower. And then you have your hardcore, where you can either do private or like maybe like a specific like hardcore like you know how in Call of Duty they have like team deathmatch, and they have hardcore team deathmatch or whatever,
right?
Like something like that. So where it's more like you got to green everything, and then in the competitive, like it's kind of going off Cody's scale, but it's lower than what the casual would be. And then you have the casual. And I think they should just split it up like that. And then another one is like simulation, where simulation is pretty much all like that's probably more for like quick match and stuff.
That's
but
like quick match, yeah.
It's all based off the ratings, literally all the ratings.
Correct.
I think real quick, the only problem with that is that like we're thinking just about us pro-am league players. There might be stage players that want to play competitively in a hardcore mode. There might be
Yeah.
park
That's what I'm
players. You know
saying. Yeah, there should
That's what
be
I'm
a
saying. You
hardcore
can-
park. And
Yeah,
like,
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
There's hardcore park. There's a competitive park, and you kind of just pick the mode.
I-
Obviously, I think mostly, like I think stage, park, and team pro-am should all be based off of, or maybe I would say stage actually, and team pro-am should be based off of competitive. Like that's your base. Like mostly it's competitive. You can still Y a little bit, but it's not as much. And then like your park and your rec is a casual, and then you should have the option to play on like a hardcore mode.
They should definitely make it more simple. As in, like when you go play team up, right? You can literally sit there and put in Hall of Fame, put the settings you want.
Yeah.
Boom,
That's
boom,
what
boom.
I'm saying. That
So if you
shouldn't
go to
be that
pro-am,
hard.
you're in pro-am, you put it hardcore, boom. You
Yeah.
pick your player, you go, boom.
And I
Easy.
think that'd be
shouldn't be
really
that
good for like private matchmaking. Like that's
Yes.
perfect for that. But like when you go ranked, it's just competitive, like the normal competitive.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, like people say like, oh, that's too hard or whatever, or like it's not that hard because that is already in the game. It's called quick match with rookie and then going up to Hall of Fame. All that changes is the game is the same. All the changes is sliders. The sliders go from the 3-point success being 75 on rookie to being like 35 on Hall of Fame. So it's already in the game. You just got to translate it to the pro-am to the park. It's already in the game.
And I think that's where whatever it is should be the same as how the league is, so people know what mode. So like that hardcore 5v5 mode, whatever that is, should be what is being played in the league.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that people can play that in retail,
Right.
even if it's not the league build, it's at least the sliders and stuff. And they know
Sliders,
how
yeah.
difficult shooting might be, or
Got to green
whatever.
everything. Yeah.
Like 100%.
You're kind of pulling from two different angles if you're trying to make it balanced for realism versus fun, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the only way you can do it is really to separate them. Say, look, this is a fun mode, and here is a more realistic, harder mode. Now, one of the things in here they talked about, and you guys read the bullet point, was in doing so, an example was throwing the ball away on a cherry pick pass isn't fun, or throwing it out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
That's something that maybe they would want to fix. I don't know if they're saying that specifically or that's just an example.
Yeah.
Would you guys want every full court pass?
Hell no.
Real quick.
I think that's a casual mode.
Yeah, the only thing with that is, for example, like I've played before the it's like the fake league build in team up that they got now, and the break starter works every single time. So you could be on the other side of the court, be under the basket, and it's a perfect pass down low. That's kind of like RNG to me, and it's not that good. So it's a 50-50. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think that should be based on rating, like passer rating.
It should be based on rating and the route
badge.
and all that.
Route, yeah. I think it's fine the way it is now. I mean,
Right now it's good.
there's some some
Yeah.
BS. But
There's some randomness to it.
There's some randomness, but it's not the biggest thing in the game right now to change.
So I think there's a skill to like making a pass and like choosing the right.
Yeah, I think they should just make the rating though kind of more important.
Right.
Like kind of like for instance, like I know
APG.
like a PG, but or like if you say in retail you make a build that's like a big that has playmaking and can pass, like those for instance like a Kevin Love in real life, like he can like he makes those passes a lot, or like Lonzo, like he's great at those. Where if that's your build or like your player, it should be a strength. But like I know in the game, like almost a normal center that's just a mashing rebounder can just throw it like you're not seeing DeAndre Jordan throw full court dimes like on the like that's not your build. So I think kind of it rewards you for making passing, and you're penalized if you don't.
Another thing it says here, and we talked about it beforehand, is the next gen version and current gen version of 2K21 being two separate games.
Yeah.
So, and I see a bullet point here that says movement, which we would hope here, but movement will feel very different on the next gen versus current gen. And they actually have two completely different studios working on them. So it sounds like it's legit. This is a totally different game. There's going to be more stuff in it for the next gen. It's going to come out later, right? We got, I think, a September 4th release for current gen 2K21, and then it's holiday for the next gen.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about that? Like, as far as like, are you excited about the potential for animation?
I think what they should do is like keep current gen, like how it is, and then make the new gen with the competitive modes and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I agree with that.
That's a good one. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I just know it's gonna be. I like it and I don't like it. I like it because I wanted it to be like this. I wanted it to be 2 different games because like it's next gen. This is the next big thing. You don't want it to be the same. And also I dislike it for my personal like game. Like I don't want to be like playing one game for like 2-3 months and then I'm like, oh shit, what is this? I gotta log in after learning a game. Like it's so there's 2 points of it, but I prefer that it's this way because I do wanted it to be like the whole next big thing. I didn't want it to be the same. I would have been disappointed.
For sure.
I think
But
just
look at it half glass full, right? You get 2 basketball games, right?
Yeah.
Because y'all are going to be. I mean, it's going to have like 2 peaks to it, right? Everyone's going to like the game's going to come out, and everyone's going to have all their stuff and be playing it and everything.
Yeah.
And just when you're probably getting a little bit tired of it,
a little bored.
The other one
new
comes
one.
out. Yeah. Hey, man. They high IQ by them.
The
I think the
frustrating
interesting
part though
Go ahead.
is the stuff not transferring over. Like say I'm grinding this year. I'm trying to get legend, and like I'm right there, and the next gen comes out. I'm be stunned.
Hey man, hop on the my team bandwagon.
I'm not playing my team.
Yeah, I'm playing my team.
I'm not touching it.
It translates, Bobby. Like
I don't care. I'm not wasting my money.
What we've seen, only my team progress will transfer.
Bobby.
Everything else.
I know. I did. They should. What they should have. At least your rep. Like, come on.
for
Make a new player, but you're a rep.
for league players, it will be different too. Because like, what if the game comes out the next gen in the holidays, right? So December. So like, most likely, I promise you, the league build for next year is gonna be on the first gen.
I think so too.
Like I can't see them making a league build in a month. You see what I'm saying? Like,
unless they already have it.
It's on the computer.
Unless they're already making it right now.
Yeah, we play on computers. We don't play on PS5 or PS4. So
he's talking about for like the combine stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about combine? Oh yeah, I don't know about that one.
Oh, my guess is going to be on current gen, and they probably move it up like they've done every year.
Yeah, correct.
Where they might have
talking about league build.
No, I'm saying where they might have like the combine and stuff. My guess, I think what they should do it before. I mean, it depends on the release date, but before next gen comes out.
No, I was talking about the league build too, because Spencer just said different movements, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's
so. What if you get used to the old gen, then there's a whole different movement? Which one are they gonna? It's gonna be a different game.
Yeah,
so they've got to choose.
I would be.
I gotta be next gen, I guess.
If they choose the old one, that'd be devastating.
That'd be bad.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That's what I think too, because by the time the league starts, everyone's playing the new gen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is 2K21 old.
Right.
So you gotta go from old to new to back
to old.
Stunning. I'm just play old gen the whole time. Just be ready.
Be ready for the league.
Yeah, I'm league ready. I don't know PS5,
which we don't know. We don't know anything about the dev cycles or what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to the league mode getting put together. It usually happens after the game releases. The game releases in September, but we don't know where they're at with development of either gen on this guy. So like, maybe they can do a little bit of the if they have 2 different studios working on the 2 games, one studio is going to be done when 2K or other than patches and things, done when 2K21 drops for the current gen. Is there resources there that they can basically start taking what's on next gen to create the combine, so that can come out at a similar time or not? I don't know, because you would think they've already gotten so far and then they have some extra time. That's what they're doing with the whole next gen game. They've just got a little bit of extra time to work on it. So, I mean, fingers crossed, because I think that like we said earlier, like it has to be what everyone else plays. In order for people to respect the league and respect your skill. And I think even back to the jump shots, like I'm on board with no RNG. I'm on board with like there's one window and that window gets affected by things like contest, like your rating, all that. And you either hit it or you don't. And people know. That's the thing is like you're in control. And if somebody hits a shot, it goes from that was a full white to he hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like good shot. Yeah,
like that was his shot. Right. Yeah, he timed it right given all the circumstances. Like 44% contest, but he timed it right. There's a 10 millisecond window now.
Yeah.
It's like this. I mean, he
Can't-
hit it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you actually have like skill,
Yeah.
Yeah.
actual
look better.
skill gap. There's
And
actually
respect.
like good shooters in the league, and that's their
Yeah.
percentage because that's
Yeah.
what they're hitting
They
Or-
made that.
in the fun mode, in the ranked mode, in whatever. And I think like in those, like that just widens, right? Like if
Yeah.
someone's just playing for fun and you just want like everything to go in, you've got a super wide window and you're just playing like NBA teams play now, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's where like it just tightens up, and that's the skill gap a little bit. I was even thinking like, because I started thinking about this and I was like, man, they could like, what if there were other mechanics involved with jump shooting? You know, like what if your jump shot that you choose has like a perfect release, right? It's got like a perfect timing, if you will. And then what if you've got to use like your left stick while you're shooting to like
Set your feet or something, or shoot.
set it left and right
Yeah,
or
or
something, right?
something.
You got to match up. You got to do the timing and match up 2 bars. And if
You
you're little,
kill it. You
and
kill
if
it.
you're a little
Spencer.
left, it's going to bank off the left side. Of
Oh
the room.
yeah, that'd be a little.
Ooh.
That'd be glitchy.
That's glitchy, low
I'd
key.
be stunned.
Let that go for the PS10.
Right.
It's too early. It's too early. It's too early.
I also think, and this is from my world, I think about pixels and I think about like how much you have on the screen to look at. And I think that when it comes to a meter like this, if you got perfect release, I also think that maybe it should only be a meter. Like I think that should be a mechanic to where you're timing something visual.
also
know
it
what I
should be
mean?
no meter.
No,
Yeah.
I think there should not be no meter.
Exactly. It should
I
be
think it
always
should be a meter. I think the meter should be a little bit bigger as well, because the bigger it is, the more pixels you have to like hit that shot. It's like sniping in
Yeah.
Fortnite or something, right? Like
Right.
when you hit it, you're hitting something very tiny. You should be able to visually like
See
that
it.
should be the skill. There should be
I
skill
I
in
understand
that.
that. part,
I
yeah.
100% agree.
I agree with you. Just for layups too, but and you have no excuse to do what
Yes.
Wolf and Joma were talking about, the very earlies. I think a lot of very earlies happen because I don't know if y'all noticed, you could get a half a bar and it will still say very early a
Yeah.
lot of the times.
Mhm.
So it's just that's probably why it happens.
Because the animation they gave you was like a longer one, and you
Exactly.
expected the quick one, some stuff like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Because layups
yeah.
are so different every time. So yeah.
And I think the jump shot, like if you have a jump shot, say it's 38, and it has, I'm just looking at his milliseconds. Let's say 650 milliseconds is like that, is the perfect middle, and everything is late or early around that.
Yeah.
That like 1 millisecond at 650 would be like the perfect release. I think that should never change. It's like the make window around it. You know what I mean? So contest tightens that up and everything. But I do think, I was thinking like on layups and things that are in the paint moving toward the basket like that, I almost feel like that should be more visual. Like you have to have a bar.
Yeah.
Even
I
if
think
they
so,
had
too.
no bar in the
Yeah.
game, like I think the layup should have a
Have
bar
a bar.
to where, because like you know how like you've got like a load up jump shot or whatever, and like
Yeah.
certain things affect like how long that takes. I think layup should be like that. Like if it's a reverse layup, you got to hold that thing like this whole time as the bar like fill, and then you hit it. You know, I think that's a mechanic as well. Like I just want to see skill. That's
And
my
based on
biggest
rate
thing.
and based on rating, there should be a higher green window for layups. Like a pure slasher should like be able to actually green some layups
Right.
instead of like a play sharp. for
Good point.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
never
it
see
all,
green
it,
layups,
it all
yeah,
carries
almost
over.
never.
And if you're going up and it's 100% contest, it's just a very tight window. You
Yeah,
know?
that window it should have. I'll be honest. If there's 100% contest, there should be no window. Silver.
But then again, if you have a 99 layup and you got LeBron James, you're 6'8" with 99 layup, maybe there should be a small one. But if you're 6'3" with a 50 layup, there should be.
I agree. If you have like a really high layup, you should have some kind of chance.
I think it brings
even if you
more-
get guarded by 2 people and you're 100% smothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have like a 95 plus layup and you're a slasher, yeah.
You have a
That's where-
chance.
Yeah, but you gotta
You
understand.
should have like a very, very
Small
tiny chance.
You gotta
Yes.
understand though, like then you're taking away from maybe the guy that guarded you being like a 95 block or
Post
contest,
defender,
and
yeah.
then him being in perfect position and timing your layup.
But
and,
that's
you know,
what we're saying.
I'm saying you
It's a
have to
small
green that
chance.
layup,
It's-
though. I'm
it's
not
a
even
small
saying you
chance.
Yeah, he's saying
Yeah,
that.
but
it's
I'm saying the chance of green that layer should be like almost impossible. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so, if LeBron drives through the lane and he's going up against DeAndre Jordan in his prime, you don't think LeBron should have a shot to make it? That's why, and DeAndre contested perfectly.
You're giving me LeBron, bro. Like that's LeBron.
That's
we're
my
talking
point.
about yeah, but we're talking about like 90 overall players being similar to each other when they
What about like
meet on the
DeMar
rim.
DeRozan?
Yeah,
When they
DeMar
meet
DeRozan. There we go.
when they meet on the rim, like and on the competitive standpoint, you know, we're talking about casual. Like in the league, for example, it's a 92 against a 92 meeting. It's LeBron meets against anybody, LeBron's winning that. You know. But I'm saying
But-
like somebody that's meeting each other with the same overall, and the guy that attacked the rim is there, and he's a slasher with 99 dunking, and the 99 blocking comes in and perfectly matches it and times the block animation perfectly with 100% smother. It shouldn't go in, never, in my opinion.
But
It shouldn't go in. You
I
should
think
reward the perfect defense.
yeah, I
Like, you
disagree
reward the
because
perfect offense.
I think it makes a skill gap where there could be a player that's really good at timing it, and that's a
Exactly.
skill gap where you got your LeBron who's really good. This player in the 2K league or whatever is really good at timing it, where he can time it and green it, even though most players can't. Like I think that becomes a skill
Exactly.
gap.
Like, it could be like a millisecond, really small.
It has to be really small if it's 100% smother.
That makes a
That's
skill
my
gap.
opinion.
Interesting thing about that is like when you look at this year's league build and point guards mashing, you might
Every point
guard can do it, right?
Yeah, every
And
point
it's
guard
like,
can
all right,
score
this is
Bro,
this
they
is
make
what
like
you need to be doing.
40%, bro. Stunning.
But then it's like, oh no, all of a sudden it's actually a player that's good at doing
That's
that.
really
right?
good. Yes, exactly.
But I think also with the animations, I think there should be like enough that on layup things like that down there, that the timings it's not the same every time. Like certain
Yeah.
animations are going to be the same, but like
Yeah, it should
the
be different.
timing of that layup should be different every time,
Yeah.
to where like you can't just like memorize a timing. Like you've got to like
Yeah.
visually hit it. And
Yeah.
then and then if you're 100% smothered and everything's going against you from a defensive standpoint, it's just like some random millisecond that you have to hit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you do, you do. And as a defender, you
Right.
know he did it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But,
the thing.
The only thing I'll say is like if if one player can like if he specializes at that like let's say Kenny or something like that, just for sakes, just for example, let's say he's just got it, he can time it. Like, do you think people are willing to just like in real life how they're like, man, LeBron, that's LeBron? Like, are people is that gonna enhance that, or could that be we still expect our point guard to do it what he's doing? Like, you're a professional, like, is that, I feel like that's still going to linger a little bit. Like, I don't think it's going to solve the issue of like one player specializes at, you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I think it makes it better because it'll be like right now it's like, all right, well, he scored 40 and he scored 40 and he scored 40. like
Right.
Well, look, hey, I mean, not to disrespect anybody, but like we can take our center, Jomar, and put him at PG, and he can score.
Yeah,
and we can and then you look at the Pistons, you got Ramo going in at PG. Like, everyone's going in at PG, and they're just glitching things out, right?
Yeah.
And it's a factor of, not that you guys aren't good. There's certain things you have to be doing to score, but like it's a factor of like the way that the game is sort of built.
It's not
Because
that
like
simple.
last year that wasn't.
It wasn't a
case, I
thing,
don't
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Like, Jomar couldn't have gone at PG and like dominate, like it, so like I think it's like changes year by year. You know what I mean?
That's a good one, Nate.
And another thing with the timing too, I think it kind of makes it more skilled and visual compared to now. I mean, now it's like, from all of us playing the game for so much, it's all about animation. Like even certain layups, even if it says it's open, like that animation, I can tell it's like that's gonna go off. Like like you can just tell, like you just know the animations in the game. Where no matter the timing, it's just animation based. Where I think with the timing, maybe like those same animation, there's a chance it goes in if you green it, if you different animation. So it's not like every time you see that same animation, you're like, oh well, that's off. Oh, that's in. Like it's like, oh, he greened it. Okay, that's going in. Like just kind of it changes up.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a lot of stuff, man.
That's a lot of stuff, you guys. That's a lot of stuff.
We can still talk about animations.
We could talk.
And every player having the same animation, regardless of the attributes. That's another one. That'll be
like that's another. Yeah, like everyone has the same, but then it's like some people want like, oh, we want everyone like to look different, but then it's like, oh well, the skill lies in like if everyone has the same silverware to eat with, you're gonna see who eats the best. Like it's like that battle of like, well, which one's gonna make everyone happy? Like it's tough.
That's true. All right,
Sounds
guys.
like the devs have a lot to work on.
Yeah, sounds like they got a lot of work. Yeah, it sounds like they got a lot of work cut out.
And everything we talk about too, like we could play
Of
devil's
course.
advocate to
Of
certain
course,
things,
of
and we can
course.
poke
Of course.
holes in it, and that's where the difficult. And also, all of this aside, you still have to balance the thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you still have to figure out like what is hard, like what window is hard,
Yeah.
or is this window just too easy for everyone?
Where everyone's
That's where
You know, that's-
before you go, that's where also like 2K needs to work on a big thing. Like the people that make the game is other games like Call of Duty, or Fortnite. I don't know what like other games. They got patches like big update, boom, patch notes, boom, this happened, like consistently, like feedback and learning about the game, what's good and what's not. Where 2K says they are listening to the complaints or the people, but there's no patch. Or if they do an update, they don't say what happened. So you just go in there and suddenly the update was because the new LeBron shoe came out and it's in the game. It's like what? So
Bug fixes.
they gotta lock in on that. In my opinion, they gotta lock
I
in
agree.
on that too, and they don't do it that often.
and really the balancing could happen through the patching like that too. Like
Yeah.
you
For
could,
sure.
they could be looking at, let's say they have different modes. They can be looking at the modes and be like, well, in our definition of where the average shooting percentage of all people playing in this mode should be
Should
at
be a higher
45% or something, and right now it's at 65%. It must be too easy. We've got to tighten that up.
Yeah.
And you patch it and you see percentages drop, so the mode gets a little harder or whatever. But regardless, my biggest thing is skill gap in this game, not RNG.
Yeah.
And I want the league and you guys to have respect as well from everyone who plays 2K. The only way to do that is for them to be able to be playing this similar mode as you guys, to like understand it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Understand what they're watching. And if it was ranked and everything like that, man, like let's prove it, That's the thing about ranked. Like, dude, you're gonna work your way to the top or not.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you're not just getting picked or plucked out of nowhere, with stats that nobody sees and you made this and that, like
Yeah.
it's not randomized. It's very transparent.
Just real quick, I just want to touch on it because it was on the top of my head. I do have to say that I think that there is a skill gap right now in 2K. I think it lies more in like decision making and like IQ,
Yeah.
and I think that can be hard to translate to viewers. Whereas I think
Yeah.
other competitive games like Overwatch, League, all that, it's more mechanical, not decision making. So I think like at some point we're gonna have to figure out what like the balance between it is and how best that skill gap can translate to viewers where people are like, damn, I can't do what this person can do
Yeah.
because he's that elite. And right now, because it's just decision making, people don't really they don't believe that. They think they could get on the sticks and do the exact same thing.
You hit it
Like,
on the spot. Yeah.
yeah, so like that's kind of where like the issue lies right now, I think. And
You
that's
watch a
a lot-
Fortnite
let's-
game? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Phil.
No, dude, I'm gonna say the exact same thing
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah.
I know when they are a better builder than I am.
Yes, exactly.
I know right
Exactly.
away because I've tried it and I'm like, I'm only this good. That's
I-
clearly better.
And I also think here's the other thing that we're kind of battling too is like maybe like 2K at its core, competitive game mode, like that's where the skill gap is with decision making, and it's just like I don't know, like you got to find a way to like show that. It's tough. You can't really.
I don't think you will.
You,
know?
you,
Yeah,
can,
I
you
think-
can show mechanical. Like you can show that because somebody literally doesn't have the response time or the capabilities to do certain mechanical things with their controller as you do. But it's tough to show decision making. It's very tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough
Especially-
to show it.
I think-
Especially,
yeah. Go ahead, Bobby.
we've seen we've seen games where someone can shoot a wide open and technically like maybe it's a dot and good pass. That's a good decision and wide open shot and it's a green animation miss. The other team comes down and shoots a early 50% contested and it goes in.
Yeah,
that's a bad decision, and
Yeah, right.
they got rewarded. The other
Right.
team made a good decision, and it's not. So I think like
Right.
it's obviously there's a skill gap for a whole game. Like, all right, this team played better defense, better passes overall, but like it's still a lot. I think a lot of RNG where there's like the skill gap isn't where it should be.
Right.
Yeah, that's where they gotta fix it. There should be Kyle Korvers, people that don't miss. You're like, yo, he's a great shooter.
Yeah.
He's a great slasher. He's a great passer. I think it should be a balance.
Yeah, they need to enhance it.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch to the last topic. It'll be short. It's a total different topic. The 2K20, and guys, this one's in Discord, so you can look at it. The 2K21 soundtrack that was released, right?
Yeah.
There's a little graphic on here talking about some different artists that are going to be in the game. I'm excited, particularly for Denzel Curry, last one on there. What do you guys think about this? You seen any listen to?
Bad Bunny.
I got a lot. They got my boy
Yeah, I got a
Juice
lot.
WRLD, my boy,
Juice
hey,
WRLD,
my boy
Baby.
Dame. Hold on, my
Don't
boy
see Bad
Dame
Bunny.
Dollar.
Hey, hold on 1 second. We're not Bobby.
Dame Dollar, Lil
Hey,
TJ,
Lil TJ,
I'm
and only
so
Choppa, lock in.
Roddy, Lil Baby, like
We're being
Travis
hey,
Scott.
Yeah,
Nah,
thank you.
alright,
we're
alright.
being unbelievably disrespectful.
nah.
Never ever in another
To who?
podcast video, never mention Juice WRLD before you mention Travis Scott.
What?
Thank you.
Oh,
I
come
agree.
on.
Thank you.
Period.
Facts.
There's levels.
Here, there's levels, and
levels.
Travis Scott is all world.
Where's Bad Bunny though, bro?
Alright,
All
that's-
world.
Facts. Yo, where's J Balvin? Where's
So we're
Bad
not- we're
Bunny?
not- We're not saying
So
Juice
stunned.
WRLD.
You can
Hey, my boy
bad,
Tory
Nate.
Lanez
That's
is
bad.
there. Tory Lanez.
Can we talk about this one though? Can we
You
talk
can
about
keep your
Dame?
Travis Scott over there.
Can we talk about Dame
I agree with
Dollar?
Bobby.
That's what I
agree with
said.
Bobby.
My boy Dame Dollar. My boy
Dame Dollar.
Jack Harlow though? What's popping?
Polo
Lock in,
G.
bro.
Polo G's a sleeper.
That's gonna be the
Polo
only
G,
song he has
Lil-
on
Oh,
there.
hey,
Nah, bro.
popping.
He got some bangers, bro.
He's got a couple. He's got a couple.
Rick Ross, Meek.
That's
Hold on,
probably what's popping though.
hold on, time out. They low key disrespected Meek though, because
Yeah,
I
they
think
did. You don't put
Meek-
Meek in small letters.
it's like,
Take out Roddy Rich and put Meek.
I mean, I'll be honest.
no.
Who's Stormzy?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, maybe take out Storm.
Yeah,
It's like, why is his name at the top?
I don't know, bro.
The only name is Travis Scott Weekend.
All right, no,
World
Travis
Pop
Scott can go
Smoke,
down.
Lil
Bring up Lil
Baby.
TJ. Lil TJ should be.
I mean, the 2K soundtrack is always good though. It's
Yeah,
never
I
really-
like. I like.
Invalid.
Oh, they even got
No,
Polo
it's
G. I didn't even see that.
Lil
Yeah,
TJ.
Polo G's solid.
Invalid.
Thunder for Vegas.
Overall,
From
Spencer's
Vegas.
pretty good.
He got some bangers.
Pretty good song.
Yeah.
Or
How about-
I haven't seen the songs, but like it's a good
Well,
artist.
you probably know what the songs are. How
Right.
about this? So this is probably going to be standard in current gen, but what about next gen? Because I think we would have already seen it happen in current gen if it was going to. What about next gen? Seeing something like that Travis Scott concert in Fortnite in
Okay.
2K?
In the
He's
park?
solid.
I'll be
A
lit.
park concert with
Yeah,
Lil
the
TJ.
servers are
man.
gonna be
Or
down.
just
The
like-
servers
yeah.
crashed.
Park after dark?
The dark. Yeah, that's
As soon as the concert starts, they're gonna.
Yeah, they did it with Snoop Dogg.
Who did it?
And
Was it
it was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, that was I'll just say
They
this.
gotta make sure that I don't get an error code every 2 seconds. That's about it.
They had a Snoop.
Try to load
there.
him to the
Snoop
park,
out there.
man.
Snoop was up. You see Snoop up there. He
I'm
was
be honest, that concert's gonna be dead. No one's gonna get
I
it.
couldn't get on the spot. My Xbox was fried. It was 15.
Hey, no one could get past security, man.
At all.
Yeah.
And nobody was past.
Concert no one showed up to because
No, talk about.
work.
No, everyone went up. They took the temperature. Boom, fever. Coronavirus. Can't get it.
I'm dead, Bobby.
Tough.
No mask. They
On
forgot
that
to-
note, we'll end this podcast, Pacers Gaming Podcast, presented by Salesforce. Once again, a link to their website and also career opportunities is in the description below. Thanks for joining me, guys. Kind of fun talking about the future.
It was a lot of fun.
That was good.
Coming
That was
down.
a good,
Yeah.
good talk.
2K21 coming up, current gen, next gen. I think we're excited for both.
Yep.
That's it for this one, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Travis Scott is overrated.
Travis Scott, the type of music he makes, it's ear candy. It's not
All right,
like.
it's an instrumental.
I do like ear candy.
Yes, Spence,
That's my
you
kind of
feel me?
music.
But like,
But you can't take
sometimes
Asher World top 3 album, bro. Okay.
Of all time.
I want you guys to go.
Of
Look
all
up,
time.
I want you to go look up Juice WRLD's freestyling.
Listen,
I've
go look it
listened
up.
to every.
This is good.
Yes.
Like,
No, you
You can't
haven't.
tell me someone's album's top 3 When the
Yes, I
best
can.
song is because of Drake.
Sickle mode is maybe
No, can't
like bottom
say.
5.
Drake.
Can't say skeleton stargazing.
The most listened
5%
to is
tin.
Lock
because
it,
of
nigga.
Drake.
Uh-huh.
The most
Come on.
listened to is Drake
Come on, man.
because of Drake.
Nah, Astro World, bro.
Wake
is
up.
different.
Like,
Yeah, wake
bro.
up with the bro. What?
Oh
Bangers,
man, that,
All right.
that wake up might be better than.
All right, bro. I'm gonna go listen
I'm
to
taking Young Boy over Travis Scott.
Oh, that's
On that note, I'm gonna go hear some
I'm
Dame
out,
Dollar,
I'm
bro.
out.
See ya.
That
that's
note,
a hot one.
come on.
Later, guys.
Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny,
That's
baby.
my